Hello everyone, you're watching News Analysis with me, Manya Gupta. Let's talk about Israel. Israel attacked Beirut and Tehran recently. Western Asia is burning with regular attacks and continuous death of both civilians and army people. The war that started back in October 2023 has turned worse, with the killing of both Hamas and Hezbollah leaders in Tehran and Beirut respectively. Reports suggest that Israel attacked the leaders in retaliation of a rocket strike at Israel-controlled Golan Heights on 28 July, leading to the death of 12 children and teenagers. Although Hezbollah, a Lebanese Islamist political party, denied this attack, Israel went on believing that it was Hezbollah and was keen to strike back. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said earlier, "The state of Israel will not and cannot let this pass. Our response will come and it will be harsh." Also severe was the killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran, to which Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei said it was now Tehran's duty to avenge his death. How have things reached this harsh? Why is this a concern for West Asia? How are people struggling more with foreign intervention in this area since 7th October? And how are things going downhill with more severe problems along with already existing sectarian, regional and communal rivalries? We will cover all this in this report. What happened on 7th October 2023 morning came as a surprise for both Israel and the world, where Hamas launched airstrikes, took up people as hostage on Israel, charging a direct attack from the country. As obvious, Israel reacted, and the things that have been going on for the past 9 months have escalated into what we can now call a deadly war and an unstable Middle East. We for sure know in the Middle East nothing is ever simple or binary. So when I talk today about recent developments in the war, it takes me to the killing of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh while visiting Iran on 31st July. Haniyeh had a major role in Hamas' evolution over the past 2 decades as it seized control over Gaza by force and then led the territory for 17 years through multiple wars with Israel. Not long ago, he managed to talk about negotiations and a ceasefire with Israel to end the war in Gaza, but Israel responded to the attack on Golan Heights by killing him. So instead of ending, he put the foundation for a full-fledged Western Asian war. In the last 4 decades, Iran's rulers have pledged to destroy Israel and are allied with every country that thinks the same. Iranian military commanders gloat over training and arming groups across the region that are enemies of Israel, which include Hezbollah and Hamas both. It even considered Hamas' attack on Israel as a momentous achievement. But how Iran is now wholly a part of this war is not a big twist. It was on 1st April that Israel attacked the Iranian embassy on Syrian soil, calling both of them to be the direct part of the war. And now it is the assassination of Haniyeh in the Iranian capital Tehran, where he was attending the inauguration of Iran's new president, Masoud Pezeshkian. He was there along with the senior members of Iran's so-called Axis of Resistance, which is the elite forces that include Hamas in Gaza, Hezbollah in Lebanon, and the Houthis in Yemen. But now, all of them will be strictly against Israel. In a public statement about Mr. Haniyeh's death, Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, signaled that Iran would retaliate directly, saying, "We see avenging his blood our duty, because it happened on the territory of Islamic Republic. Israel had set the stage for receiving a severe punishment." Israel had another deadly attack on Lebanon soil, killing Hezbollah's Fuad Shukr, a senior official and commander who served as a close advisor to Hezbollah's leader Hassan Nasrallah, according to the Israeli officials. Although Hezbollah felt of a revenge attack on its southern strong post, maybe borderlines, but could not think of being attacked in the capital, and that's what Israel strains upon, tit for tat, and the idea that Israel has the capability of hitting anywhere. While I move on, Israel is sending the message of escalation of the war rather than any pause to it. It looks like Israel is ready to widen its attack on various fronts, extending from Gaza to Hezbollah, now which is much a big experienced group. Is Israel actually ready to fight them back? because back in 2006 there was a war between both of them for nearly 34 days where hundreds of people died and both sides claimed victory. Although Israel was not that equipped in those days as its war machines failed that time. But now the question is, will the war now be different? So when we look at the broader view, including foreign reactions to the war, it concludes that West has been equally supporting Israel for long, be it supplying weapons or giving endless help to them. But will now the Western powers be different or the similar ones? This conflict will severely damage Lebanon's social fabric and infrastructure of the place, where Lebanon is already in a fragile state, with economic downfall and widespread suffering among civilians. So here in this case, the international community, including the United States, would likely be called upon to provide financial, logistical support to address the crisis. The conflict could even call for attacks on US interests as well as encourage the Houthi rebels in Yemen. Despite all these consequences, nothing would be able to eliminate Hezbollah. Ideally, if the US were to advise against or refuse support for an Israeli military offensive, the hope is that Israel would abandon or postpone such plans. But the goal for Israeli pressure now is forcing the US administration to change its stance and offer support for Israel's action in Lebanon. And since it is the election year in the US, the cost of losing support from pro-Israeli voters and political elites could be too high. Germany is the second largest supplier of arms to Israel, where it is on one side providing munitions and on the other side asking Israel to keep calm and de-escalate the war. But focus on what kind of irrationality is this, where you are playing a double standard role in the world of geopolitics. The major way is to just cut off the supplies of submarines, torpedoes and other arms you are supplying. Well, when I talk about UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who has recently been the Prime Minister, emphasized the need for immediate steps towards a ceasefire in Gaza, stressing the importance of a two-state solution and increased humanitarian aid. Meanwhile, China and Russia have condemned the Israeli operations. The world, along with the Middle East, will suffer a strong setback if this turns into a bloody war killing millions. Even now, where the West Asia is plunging, civilians are badly suffering and waiting for all this to end. Keeping aside these political battles, humanitarian issues are prevailing, and it is time to understand that war should be restrained and ceasefire should be the priority. But after major attacks, this seems to be impossible.